There is one truth that very few traders are willing to face. You don't lose because the market is difficult. You don't lose because you lack a strategy. You lose because you don't know when to stop. And every time you don't stop, you give up a little more control, often without even realizing it. This video will not help you win more. It only helps you avoid dying early in this game. You make a few $100s and you feel euphoric. You lose a few hundred and your mind falls apart. From that moment on, you are no longer trading a strategy. You are trading emotions. And at that exact moment, you are no longer a trader. You have become a gambler wearing a suit. No more analysis, no more plan. Price moves a little, you jump in. A red candle appears, your heart starts racing. A small move in your favor, and you rush to close the trade out of fear it might reverse. But when you're in loss, you hold on as if begging the market for mercy. You are not the only one. Hundreds of thousands of traders out there have walked, are walking, and will walk down this exact same path. They start with belief, then they lose, and once they lose, they don't stop to correct themselves. They try to recover one trade to save an entire chain of mistakes. They size up, they take more risk, they rush. But the truth is, every attempt to recover only digs the hole deeper. You don't lose because you lose money. You lose because you lose control. I still remember clearly my first streak of 6 consecutive losing trades. I wasn't hurt by the account balance going down. I was hurt by the feeling that I no longer knew what I was doing. I deleted old indicators and added new ones. I changed time frames from 1 hour to 5 minutes, then down to 1 minute. I thought maybe I had chosen the wrong tools. But no, I was the tool being dragged by the market. And then I met him, the man I would later call my teacher. He looked at me for a long time and said only one sentence. You didn't lose because your strategy was wrong. You lost because you didn't know when to stop. You lost because you didn't have a system to protect you from yourself while you were losing. My teacher was once a professional trader in the London market, but he wasn't famous. He didn't show off luxury cars. He never talked about multiplying accounts tenfold. He lived quietly, steadily. 10 years of trading, never allowing more than 3 losses in a row. I asked him, "How did you do that?" He answered, "Because I don't trade to win. I trade to avoid losing consecutively. The rest, the market takes care of on its own." You see, everyone loses sometimes, but only those who don't let losing streaks grow still have a chance to survive and keep winning. You may be very intelligent, you may have a good strategy, but if you don't have a system to stop yourself from falling into a losing streak, then in the end, you are still just a gambler wearing a suit. Quiet Trading bows its head in gratitude to all of you, those who have listened quietly, supported silently, and stayed with the channel with patience through this journey. The stories of stumbling, the lessons carved deep by my teacher would remain nothing more than scattered memories if there were no one listening, someone who feels each breath of the market, each fluctuation of belief, each step I have taken along the way. Every video I create is not merely content, it is a small gift gathered with full respect for you, as one would offer to a true companion. Thank you for believing in this journey. Thank you for choosing to stay, and thank you for still being here. In trading, a single losing trade is normal, but a losing streak is what kills. It doesn't kill you immediately, it doesn't slap you in the face like a flash crash. It seeps in, quietly, relentlessly, day by day, trade by trade. It erodes your confidence, pulling you deeper into doubt. You start with one wrong trade. You tell yourself, "It's fine, I'll fix it on the next one." But the next trade loses too. And from that moment on, you are no longer thinking like someone with a strategy. You begin thinking like someone seeking revenge. You enter trades not to win, but to recover. You stop analyzing carefully. You start guessing. You don't wait for a clear signal. You jump in simply because you can't bear the feeling of being in loss. And that is the moment you begin to lose. not because of the market, but because you are fighting the wrong enemy. The enemy is no longer price, candles, or indicators. The enemy is you, in a state of panic. My teacher once said, "No one dies from a single losing trade, but many collapse after 3 consecutive losses and the wrong reaction that follows." Just 3, not 10. 3 losses in a row are enough to knock you off the path of reason. You change systems, you abandon your familiar time frame, you delete all past backtests, you rush into something new, unproven, all to avoid the pain, not to trade better. A losing streak doesn't live on the chart, it lives in your mind. You repeat the same flawed thought, "I just need one big win to get it all back." But the market does not pay the unsteady, it only punishes. Trade by trade, pip by pip, click after unconscious click. That is what makes losing streaks terrifying. They don't just take your money, they take your belief. And when you no longer believe in yourself, you cling to anything, a new indicator, an unfamiliar signal group, some so-called millionaire trader online. You lose direction, and you trade like a blind man running straight into a storm.
The truth is, losing streaks are unavoidable. Even my teacher, the man who traded steadily for 10 years, went through periods of 3 consecutive losses. The difference was this: he never allowed that streak to extend into a 4th trade. He stopped. He stepped back. He reset everything, from his psychological state to his strategic approach. Not because he was weak, but because he understood that in this market, the winner is the one who knows when to stop before being pulled into the blood spiral. Remember this: a losing streak doesn't kill you with money. It kills you with the illusion that you are still in control. But the reality is, you are no longer controlling anything. This is the moment you are forced to accept a truth. No strategy wins every trade. But there is a system that can keep you from dying because of a losing streak. My teacher called it an anti-losing streak mechanism, a simple framework, yet extremely effective. It won't make you rich quickly, it won't double your account, but it keeps you alive. And in this world, survival alone is already a major victory. A defensive mindset. Most traders enter the market asking one question: how do I win big? Very few ask, how do I avoid losing deeply? My teacher once said, "A great general is not the one who kills the most, but the one who doesn't let his soldiers die meaninglessly." Trading is not a game of hunting profits. Trading is a game of managing risk before thinking about profit. The ones who last the longest in this market are not the smartest, but those who know how to protect their accounts from themselves. Second, managing trade sequences. My teacher never allowed himself to lose more than 3 trades in a row, not because he was always right, but because he followed one unchanging rule. After 3 consecutive losses, stop all trading for 2 days. No analysis, no entries, no thinking about the market. During those 2 days, he drank tea, took walks, and reread his journal. He didn't try to recover losses. He didn't increase position size to counterattack, because he knew that after 3 losing trades, you are no longer yourself. You are the most fragile version of you, the easiest to lose control. You shouldn't touch the mouse, just as a drunk person shouldn't take the wheel. Third, reset when you're wrong. There's a truth very few are willing to face. When you lose repeatedly, it isn't always the market's fault. Sometimes the system you are using is no longer suitable. A professional trader is not loyal to a strategy, they are loyal to discipline. If a system loses 3 times in a row under clear market conditions, they pause. They don't twist indicators to force a signal. They don't stuff in more data just to convince themselves. They reset, starting again from 0. They observe the market like a beginner.
My teacher called this the skill of returning to the starting point, carrying no past, attached to no expectations. Fourth, winning streaks also need to be managed. It sounds paradoxical, but it's true. Those who are winning also need a mechanism against collapse. Because after a winning streak, the illusion of invincibility appears. You begin increasing position size, ignoring weak signals, granting yourself permission to enter trades by intuition. And then, a losing streak arrives right after that winning streak. My teacher emphasized this repeatedly. A loss prevention mechanism isn't only for times of failure. It is a barrier that holds you back when you are flying too high. No one says you will never lose again, but with the right mechanism, you won't lose consecutively to the point of collapse. An anti-loss system doesn't come from indicators. It doesn't live inside an EA robot. It lives in how you react when you begin to be wrong. It is your willingness to stop, to step out, to accept. It is your courage to take one step back so you don't get pushed many steps further. Some people aren't born to win fast, but to avoid losing for too long. They are not brilliant, they are not loud, but they last long enough to outlive everything. And they do so because they have a mechanism against collapse. Not strategy, not luck, just self-understanding and stopping at the right time. William Carter, a man who never rushed. In a chaotic era, people respected Alexander Reed for his intellect, admired Michael Grant for his bravery, but the one who remained until the end was a patient man who barely fought at all. Once, Alexander Reed laid siege to a city, provoking battle again and again. William Carter simply closed the gates, sat still, and did not send his troops out. Many generals thought him a coward, but he understood this. Not fighting is also a way of fighting. Survive first. There will be a day to counterattack. Trading is no different. Daring to stay out of the market when your psychological is unstable, when your system is out of sync, is a mark of mastery. Not weakness, but skill. Warren Buffett, the billionaire of doing nothing. Warren Buffett was criticized for 3 years for sitting still during the dot-com bubble. The entire investment world rushed into tech companies that had never made a profit. Buffett only smiled. He didn't buy. He didn't chase trends. He didn't let FOMO pull him along, because he had principles. I don't invest in what I don't understand. When others are greedy, I am fearful. And when the dot-com bubble finally burst, countless investors went bankrupt. Buffett still had money, and more importantly, he still had his belief. Buffett's story shows this. Constant action is not mastery. Mastery is knowing when to do nothing. In trading, if you are losing, learn from Buffett. Step back. Wait until the moment is clear enough. Preserve liquidity. Keep the mind steady. I know a trader from New Orleans. He isn't famous. He doesn't sell courses. He doesn't live stream. He simply trades quietly and lives more steadily than most people I've met. His account doesn't spike the way some KOLs do, but there is one thing I deeply respect. In 7 years of trading, he has never allowed his account to draw down more than 10%. I asked him what his secret was. He smiled and answered in a calm, low voice. When I lose 2 trades in a row, I stop for 3 days. At that moment, there is no system better than silence. Not trading is also a form of trading, one that preserves life for the next trade. Lessons from those who know how to stop. The traders who win sustainably in this market are not the ones who are always right. They are the ones who know how to stop at the moment they begin to be wrong. They stop when the first trade fails. They stop when emotions take over. They stop when the market becomes abnormal. They stop to look back instead of running forward trying to recover. They don't fear missing opportunities, they fear losing control. Because a trader who has lost control, no matter how good the system, is nothing more than a gambler who knows how to use charts. You want to win? First, learn how not to kill yourself. The painful truth is this: most traders don't die because of the market. They die because of themselves. Because they hold losing trades. Because they take revenge on price. Because they have no mechanism to stop when everything is sliding downhill. An intelligent person knows where they are. A strong person knows when to allow themselves to be weak so they can stay alive. The difference between those who survive and those who are eliminated from this market lies in the system. Not a system that makes money, but a system that prevents money from being lost too quickly. If you can't control losing streaks, if you don't know when to stop, if you have no brakes when your mind is overheating, then you are playing a dangerous game with your own wallet. So how do you build an anti-losing streak system? First, start by defining the maximum loss limit for each streak. No one knows whether the next trade will win or lose, but there is one thing you can know in advance: how many consecutive losses push you into danger. My teacher called this the emotional death threshold. Some people panic after 3 losses in a row. Some can endure 4 or 5, but beyond 6, most lose themselves. Ask yourself, how many losing trades can I take before I lose my rational mind? That number is your safety limit. And the first rule is this: never, under any circumstances, allow yourself to cross that limit. Next, you need to apply a streak-cutting mechanism. Once you know your limit, set hard, non-negotiable rules. For example, if I lose 3 in a row, I stop trading for 24 hours. If I lose 4 in a row, I take 3 days off and review the entire system. It sounds simple, but this principle alone has saved many traders from blowing up their accounts. A streak-cutting mechanism severs negative emotional reflexes the moment they begin to form. The next step, often ignored, is flexible position sizing. In the military, when forces are at a disadvantage, a commander doesn't charge forward, he pulls back. Trading is the same. When you are losing, don't keep the same size you use when you are winning. Reduce it. Trade smaller, lighter, slower. For example, if you normally risk 1% per trade, after 2 consecutive losses, reduce it to 0.5%. If losses continue, cut it to 1/4. Reducing size limits the bleeding during unstable periods. And don't rely only on price-based stop losses. Learn how to stop by time. My teacher once taught me a rule: if the market doesn't offer a clear signal for 3 days, don't try to guess. It's not your time. Sometimes you shouldn't enter a trade, not because the strategy is wrong, but because the moment hasn't arrived. Set fixed rest periods. Each month, take a full week with lighter activity. Each week, choose 2 days with no trading to break the psychological rhythm. Not trading is also a form of management. And when you've taken losses, don't try to stand up on belief alone. Have a recovery plan. No one passes through a losing streak without being hurt. The difference is that professionals have a plan to stand back up with control. For example, after 3 losing trades, stop for 2 days. Rewrite your trading journal. Analyze the causes. When you return, don't use real money. Trade on demo for 1 day. After 4 losing trades, rest for 3 days. Review the entire backtest. Ask the question, does the strategy still fit? If yes, continue. If not, rebuild from zero. Recovery doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from a plan prepared in advance. And there is one more thing. Almost no one teaches this, yet it is critically important. Keep a psychological trading journal. Most traders only record their trades, but my teacher made me record my mental state at entry. Was I calm? Was I influenced by the residue of the previous trade? Did I enter because of a signal or because of irritation? Write it down. Then read it back. You will realize that losing streaks don't come from the market. They come from a misaligned mental state that was never corrected. Finally, train yourself to do something outside of trading. It sounds simple, but it's what keeps your mind cool over the long term. When you lose, your mind becomes glued to the market. You need a release valve. Walk, drink tea, go to the gym, meet friends, write. Do anything that has nothing to do with trading.
That is not laziness. It is the art of restoring the will. It is how you keep yourself from becoming a machine that enters trades unconsciously. No one knows what the market will do tomorrow, but you can always know whether you are steady today. A loss prevention system doesn't help you win every trade. It helps you avoid killing yourself while you are losing. And sometimes, as my teacher often said, as long as you are not dead, each return makes you stronger. I have to be honest with you about this. It may sound embarrassing, but if someone asked me how many times I've blown my account, I couldn't answer. I honestly don't remember. There were times I tried to forget, times I told myself, it's okay, next time will be different, and then everything repeated. I tried everything you can imagine, copying other people's trades, trading the news, stacking indicators on top of each other, even entering trades purely on feeling. There were times I put my entire remaining balance into a single trade, hoping that if it worked, I would recover everything. And then, you already know the ending. Every time I blew an account, I didn't just lose money. I lost a piece of self-respect, a piece of belief, and a piece of hope that trading was truly a valid path. I thought about quitting. I believed maybe I simply wasn't cut out for this. Until I began learning from the teacher I often mention in previous videos, a man who lives from real trading, without showmanship, without decoration. A man who has survived in the market for more than 20 years without ever allowing himself to fall into a losing streak longer than 3 trades. He taught me something that sounds very simple. No system will make you win all the time, but you need a system that keeps you from killing yourself after 3 losing trades. I began to review every losing streak, not to punish myself, but to understand where I was wrong. Was it the strategy, the psychology, the timing? Should I have stopped right after the second loss? Was I unconsciously trying to recover? I learned to set loss limits for myself. I wrote those limits down on paper. I allowed myself a maximum of 3 consecutive losses. If that limit was exceeded, I stopped trading for 2 days, no matter what opportunities appeared. At first, this was extremely difficult. There was always a voice in my head whispering, what if the next trade is a big winner? What if this is the legendary reversal? If I don't trade now, when will I ever recover? But it was those very what-ifs that had cost me so dearly so many times before. He didn't teach me how to enter trades. He taught me when I must not enter. Do not trade when your psychology is off. Do not trade right after a loss. Do not trade when your only intention is to take revenge on the market. He repeated this again and again. Trading is not the art of attack. It is the art of protecting yourself first, and only then thinking about counterattacking. From the day I built my own loss prevention system, things began to change. I still have losing trades, of course I do, but things no longer drag on endlessly. There are no more blown accounts, no more trading in anger or in excessive excitement, and most importantly, I no longer hate myself after every mistake.
because I know I did what needed to be done. I stopped when I needed to stop. The market will always have moments of clarity and moments of chaos. You can't change that. The only thing you can change is yourself. An anti-losing streak system is not an option. It is a mandatory shield if you want to survive in this game longer than 6 months. We don't need to be better than the market. We only need to be better than the emotionally unstable version of ourselves. And sometimes, being better simply means knowing when to stop. If you want to win across an entire year, don't begin by searching for a perfect winning system. Don't start with fantasies of getting rich fast. Start with a different question. How do I avoid losing too deeply, for too long, and with too much pain? The one who wins the year is not the one who wins every week. The one who wins the year is the one who doesn't collapse when the worst weeks come. They still lose, but when they lose under control. Do you know how they differ from everyone else? They know fear. They fear entering trades while angry. They fear breaking discipline after 2 stop losses. They fear prolonged psychological damage from losses. They're not afraid of missing opportunities. They're afraid of losing themselves while trying to recover. And because they know fear, they know how to step back. They know when to stay out. They know when to take a few days off. They know when a strategy needs to be paused. And they understand that sometimes doing nothing is the strongest move. We live in a world that judges you by short-term profits, but the market doesn't care how fast or slow you get rich. The market only cares whether you are still there when the winning season returns. The one who wins the year is the one who constantly sets limits, constantly protects mental stability, constantly observes themselves before observing the market. They don't have to be geniuses, but they always have a system that keeps them from losing their mind when the market turns violent. You can become that person. You don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need to be right all the time. You only need a part of your system that protects you from losing streaks. That system is not on the chart. It lives inside you. It is how you respond when everything moves against you. It is how you stand back up without paying in blood. The one who wins the year is not the one who moves faster. It is the one who doesn't fall when the world begins to slide. Thank you for walking with me through this entire journey. In a trading world full of traps, your presence is what gives these stories meaning. If you found value in this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with those who may also be searching for a direction.